Welcome to the Self-Employed series here. We are talking today about health insurance plans and what might be best for you. I've noticed a lot of folks when they are talking to me about going self-employed will mention that health insurance is one of their biggest questions. That was one of my biggest questions too when I went self-employed. And in fact, it was such a big question for me that I figured, why not actually just become a health insurance agent myself? So I want to share with you what I've learned. It's not easy info to go out and find. It's kind of insider stuff, but hopefully this will help some of you. Anyway, this is my website, chrisrimble.com. There are really two types of plans that are out there. There's government plans and there's private plans. The government plans are going to cover all pre-existing conditions. They can't decline you based on pre-existing conditions, and they'll cover pre-existings. And sometimes they'll give you an income-based discount. Let's go over and actually quote one of those. Let's use a example of a Nashville zip code here just to keep things simple. We'll make it two 35-year-old parents and a 5-year-old child. And we will see what their options look like on the Affordable Care Act. All right, click next. And for this household, let's say that mom and dad both work, bring in about 45,000 each. We'll put in 90,000. Let's see what this will look like for this family. So it says here, your income is too high to qualify for savings. Click continue. And since we're outside open enrollment, you can't just sign up for it. So you have to have a special enrollment reason. We'll just click one of those so we can see the plans for this example. And I'm going to just skip through all this so it shows us literally all the plans. So all plans, let's go here. So plans for this family start at $932 a month and have a pretty high deductible there, being real. Um, Now, again, these plans cover all pre-existing conditions. So if someone has some major health issues, it can be very, very helpful that that plan covers that. Let's adjust this family's income down to 60,000. At 60,000, they get a $784 a month discount, and now the plans cost a lot less. So you can see um, if someone has a lower income, they would pay a lot less on this type of plan. It would probably be their best option. Now, that's really the two use cases for the Affordable Care Act, in my opinion. They are going to be if you have a income which is within the range to get a discount and pay less for your plan, or if someone has some major pre-existing conditions, I would recommend that they be on a Affordable Care Act plan. It's not necessary to put the whole family on the plan if just one person has especially high healthcare needs, though, so just know. Um, Another common kind of plan is going to be a short-term plan. A short-term plan is generally very inexpensive, and um, they will also have a few limitations to them that I would say, unless you have a coverage gap of maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it might not be the best fit. And I'll explain why in a second, but let's start to look at them. You see this 6 months and 12 months on here. This is about how long the actual policy will last. So here's what I was talking about with the limitations. If someone starts needing treatment, say month 5 on this plan, and I don't know, injury, illness, things like that, and the treatment goes for a few months, when they renew this at the end of that 6 months, it will not generally be covered for that pre-existing treatment on the next plan, even though you were on it previously when it happened. So I would say these are only good for a shorter time period. After that, maybe look for something a little more permanent. I would say these are also good if you know you're going on to employer coverage in a few months and you're just in between jobs. Another thing to look for is the coverage maximums here. These are how much the plan will pay out total. So I've seen bills that are larger than these numbers. So just know that you can run out of insurance on one of these. So affordability being an issue maybe would be a good reason for these, but unless you're just going to be going a few months without employer coverage or something, these probably aren't going to be the best fit. And just be aware that they're often marketed as if they're full coverage. Frankly, they're not. So just if you're getting quotes for these and it sounds like super interesting, it's like a PPO and it's got a low deductible, because some of these do have a lower deductible. Just know it resets every time you renew it. And so if you have ongoing treatments, it wouldn't be covered on the next one. So just be aware of that. These are Medishare plans. Medishare is like wildly popular lately, and I want you to know something about it. It's not insurance. It's it's something absolutely different than insurance. So how many people are applying? 3 or more. Date of birth of the oldest, 6/30/85, and married, and they are in Tennessee. So it's going to give us a number in Tennessee here. Put in that 37214 zip code. See your pricing. All right, so you can see here that these prices are fairly attractive, but conditions apply. Let's look at the fine print at the bottom of this page here. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. It is a nonprofit healthcare sharing ministry. They voluntarily share each other's medical expenses. It's not insurance and is not regulated as insurance. Nobody here is assuming any legal obligation to share in the payment of any medical expense incurred by another member. Not even the company has to pay anything on anybody's bills. So frankly, you're just kind of buying an expensive monthly promise. And sure, some people have had some bills paid with this, and they've also saved some money with it. And I'm sure there are some good people in the company that want to make sure people get helped. But but seriously, would you want a insurance plan for your family that's not insurance and not even obligated to pay on it? Seems a little bit suboptimal to me. That's just my thinking on that. All right. The next page here is going to be underwritten plans. Underwritten plans are only good if you are actually very healthy. Let's put in our example here. They will only approve you if you're healthy, and they will not cover pre-existing conditions in general. So I would say if you haven't really had any medical claims, if you currently are, as far as you know, very healthy and are just looking for something to take care of you if something major happens, these are going to be probably the best fit. I actually have one of these myself. They are insurance, they are regulated as insurance, and I personally have a plan that has a unlimited policy max too, so I'm never going to run out of insurance, which is good. But again, these will check your health history digitally before applying. So they'll check a couple of databases to see if there's any like major prescriptions or major diagnoses. And as long as it looks pretty clean, and it's okay to have things like, generally, it's okay to have things like hypothyroidism or controlled blood pressure or other minor things like seasonal asthma, things like that. Normally, those won't keep you from getting approved, but whoops, got the wrong date in here. But again, this is what I have. It's on a PPO and has been very good for my wife and I. So what I'm quoting here is very, very, very configurable. You don't have to set everything up the way that I'm setting it up, but it is how I would set it up for my own family. Let's see what we get back on this. See how it compares to other ones. I have a pretty good idea just because I've been in this business for over 5 years and have quoted thousands of people, but let's see how this one turns out. Yeah, this one's quoting at 558.42 monthly. And again, not everybody's going to get approved on this, and this plan is not available in every single state, but it is in most states, and most of the applicants I've had apply for it have gotten approved for it. So it's not super hard to get onto. Um, and again, you'll want to talk to an agent to get full details on this, but it is super awesome coverage. National network, really strong, worst case scenario, all kinds of good stuff. But can't really go any further and still remain general about the discussion here. So again, to recap, if you do not have the option for employer coverage, and you have the option to get an income-based discount based on your income, I would encourage you to use, by the way, healthsherpa.com to look at those things. Go on here and see how you would qualify. And if you have some major pre-existing conditions, or if anybody in your family does, they probably should have a Affordable Care Act plan. These have helped a lot of people, and they do have unlimited policies. So if you somehow get $1 billion bill, you do have an out-of-pocket max. Um, the Medishare, I would not recommend these because they're not insurance. You do have to pay every single month, but they do not have to pay anything on your bill. So I would really recommend against those personally. Short term is great if you have a short gap in coverage and you just need something to move you from career job A to career job B, and just there's a few months in between where you won't have insurance. This is a good setup. If you're going to be self-employed and you're generally fairly healthy family and you're in the states that these are available in, these are really, really good plans, these underwritten ones. I personally have one for my wife and I. And this is my website. I would recommend going on here and clicking the health insurance quiz on chrisrimbolt.com and taking the quiz to see what might be best for you. It's pretty useful. And it will really help you figure out what your best step forward is. And if you want to contact me directly, I would recommend going to the contact tab here on chrisrimbolt.com and just going to this phone number here and texting me. This is my iPhone. You can shoot me a text with any questions that you have, or you can send me an email. Here's my email address here. And I do post also some good informative stuff on here on the blog as well. So I'm just here to educate people about health insurance. Sometimes I will end up selling someone a plan if it is the right fit for them. And if something else is a better fit, or if what they currently have is pretty good, then I will not end up selling them a plan. And that's okay. I'm just here to make sure that everybody that talks to me has the best possible fit. And I will do my very, very best to make sure that you end up in the most optimal position after talking to me. But that's it, folks. Thank you for coming to the webinar. And if you have any friends that this info would be good for, have them come here and register for the next webinar. I do these at Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that is how I educate people. Anyway, this is a lot better than getting a bunch of phone calls. Often if you go online and Google health insurance, you'll end up on a information collection form. You'll type in your phone number and email, and you can get dozens, if not hundreds, of phone calls, emails, and texts. Let's avoid that. Let's figure out what the best fit is for you personally. Let's not try to do some kind of one-size-fits-all setup for you. Reach out to me, or also, if ACA is good for you, you can go directly to Health Sherpa. You don't have to come to me. Same for the short term. You can actually go directly to ehealthinsurance.com and get the short-term plans. But if it sounds like the underwritten plan type might be good for you, Those do have to go through an agent, and I would love to be your person for that. But that's it, folks. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you on my texts, in my email, and my phone calls. Have a great night.